All right, guys, welcome back to From the Heart for the Heart, episode 2. Nice to be with you guys again, man. We're back with Frankie, Jaron, and Brandon in that order. Boom, boom, boom. And, me, the crown jewel, Mike. Welcome back to us, guys.
Got it.
What's going on?
Don't even try, Brandon. Don't even try.
I was just seeing how I was going to do. I was just seeing which way the wind was going to blow this week. And it's not blowing in my direction. We've already started that off right. What's going on, guys?
I'm good. How about y'all?
Like I said, I had a long day, so I'm going to try to force the emotion out of me tonight.
You got the Team USA, looks like, jersey on, so...
Yeah, I'm liking it.
Some kind of spirit. It is actually... Never mind.
You don't want to start early?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to go there. Oh man. So I don't know. I guess I'll kind of take it real quick before we jump into tonight's episode. The first episode I thought was pretty cool. First one together. If you guys hadn't had a chance to listen to it yet, we're on Apple, Google, Spotify, and any other place you can listen to podcasts almost right now after going from not being anywhere. So that's a big come up for Mike and myself. Credit, I guess we got to give it to the white people for this, Mike, who helped us out for this one. No, but we're just going to keep it moving. We're back, second episode of season 2, and we're doing it a little bit different tonight. Frankie has kind of put together a special episode, an idea he had crafting that Mike and Jaron kind of know a little bit about, just really today. And I just, a couple of days ago, I talked with Frankie about it, but I'm really not in the loop of what he has going on. So I'm letting you guys know that too. This is completely kind of his thing. So this, all you guys are going to do is debate.
So if this episode, That's all. So if this episode sucks, it's all on Frank.
Yes, that too.
Man. No pressure.
But all I'm gonna say is that even I've been thinking about debates all day. I've been thinking about coming at them all day. That's all I'm going to say. If that's any indication, I'm ready for them. I was getting mad as we were discussing it. So Frankie, go ahead and kind of intro tonight. What's kind of going on? Fill us in, and then we'll get ready to jump into it.
All right. Well, basically tonight's debate and discussion is going to be about symbols and the representation of it, but more likely, are symbols racist? Do y'all believe that symbols can be racist? Yes. So, Brandon's already telling me, yes, he thinks so. What about Jaron and Michael? What do y'all think?
I don't think any necessarily inanimate object can be racist, but they can be used by racists. So, how they're deployed, I don't know whether the symbol itself is racist inherently, but I don't know if it really matters if somebody else is deploying it as a racial baton. So no, but can be used that way, I guess, is how I feel about it.
Okay. What about you, Michael?
I believe I'm kind of on Jaron's side. I don't believe if a majority of people do it, use that one symbol, then I guess it could be a symbol of racism, and it could be seen as racist if a large majority of the people use that. But a lot of you got so many objects, so many symbols that were made by people, and somebody just hijacked it. It wasn't intentionally used for that, but it gets to that point. So I'm kind of in a gray area, yes and no, depending on the symbol.
Okay. All right. Well, and that's basically what tonight's discussion is going to be about. So that's just a little quick introduction into the topic.
Honestly, it's kind of weird. I never even really debated or put much thought into symbols being racist or anything like that until the circle game became a white power symbol, and we started seeing that all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that was just created on 4chan or not, it probably wasn't a large group of people, but now there's a ton of people that can't say okie dokie or
right.
like gotcha, bro, slug bug. I mean, so it obviously can be corrupted very easily in the new social court that we have via Twitter and all the social medias. It's kind of funny. It just became a thing, honestly, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there's a lot of ways you can.
Me tonight, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. But I mean, piggyback on what I said. I mean, just look at gangs. I know we're gonna get into this, but this is just an intro. Look at gangs. Gangs weren't initially made to be like violent and against each other and whatnot. It was kind of meant to protect the community and whatnot. So, and look how bad gangs have become. You know,
well, you know, red versus gold and black. I mean,
my tattoo. It's Arabic for all love. You know, love is all is a translation, but because of perception, you know, or what have you, just seeing this of anything, you know, whether it be from movies or just depending on where you get your information, this can be seen as something, you know, threatening or hateful, you know, kind of what we're talking about tonight. So it's and symbols.
I think I've prepared a good discussion ahead of us. I've used a lot of elements from history to also current events and everything else. So I am actually looking forward for this discussion to find out what y'all think, and especially I know the baseline of what y'all think beforehand, and I'm curious to see what y'all think after this whole entire discussion. See if there's really much of a debate afterwards, or if it's just y'all totally agree with me like always.
Okay. And this is a great time for a commercial.
You know, yeah.
I'm trying to take my jabs right now because I know Brandon's got them coming.
I do, but it's not even about that.
No.
Before we do jump into the segment, we do want to let everybody know we are going to close it with the actual debate.
Yes.
You know, as Mike calls it, and now it's time for the real debate. And tonight, should we give it away now, or should we just wait until
we're giving it away now?
You want to give it away now
so that they can think about it. Hopefully,
while they're watching.
All right, good idea. You know what? That is a good idea. So tonight, for our final debate, heated debate, we hadn't even really talked about it. You know, we kind of kept it under wraps. Who's, you know, which way everyone's going. So, but tonight's debate's going to be who's the best boy band of all time. So I know everyone's had a chance to decide and figure it out, and we'll see where that goes. Mike.
Yeah.
You wanna close us out? Take us to our main segment tonight.
I mean, it's not really to close out. I hope you guys are ready for that boy band, because I am a boy band fanatic, and I am going to destroy you guys. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Don't tell me it's One Direction.
Okay. Let's not get crazy.
All right, guys, welcome back. As I said earlier, today we are going to talk about symbols and racism that it can represent. So, first things first, let's go ahead and bring it up, Brandon.
Okay.
First things first, do y'all think these symbols are racist?
I think they're swastikas.
Okay.
I mean, but one was once again deployed by the Nazis, but it was a repurposed symbol from the Hindu religion. So,
if you're just looking at it, it's. I feel like this is going to be where I'm going to go tonight already. I can already feel it. If you're just looking at it, without even, just quick glancing at it, it's a swastika. You know, it's a Nazi swastika. That's what you're seeing. And that's just because of, evil's going to outweigh good as far as from a remembrance standpoint.
But I think it depends on where you're from, too, because if you're from India and you're very extremely faith-based culture,
That's true too.
You're going to see it as your symbol of peace,
and
first.
That's the perception standpoint. Right.
Okay.
I do not see them as racist, to be honest. I get nothing from this right now, like literally nothing.
No, but we're also intelligent, and can spot the difference.
Correct.
As well too.
So actually, Jared actually pointed straight on the head. That first symbol is actually straight from Hindu. And it's a symbol they use still today. So India, you will actually see this symbol around India. And it is a symbol that represents spirituality and divinity. Whereas the second symbol was actually used in the U.S. military as a unit patch for the 45th Infantry. Later, it was actually changed to the Thunderbird, if you want to bring that next one. This is before the World War II and after the World War II, because at the time, Germany is actually basically put a bad name on the swastika. Now, the difference is, if you look at the swastika, you'll notice it's flat. The ones that the Nazis use, next slide, is actually tilted at a 45-degree angle, if you can see that. So it all depends on the characteristics of the symbol itself, if it's considered racist or not, in my opinion. Now, yes, I totally agree. I see a swastika. First thing I think of is neo-Nazism, white supremacy, that whole nature in itself. All right.
It goes back to what Jaron was saying. I'm bouncing back and forth between the screen sharing. About depending on where you're from, being on an Eastern and literally, Jaron, is where I was going to go with it before we continued in this Eastern civilization, Western civilization. That's literally where your planet at is where you're going to view this symbol, and you put it you bring up the Nazi symbol, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't seen any of the other ones outside of my own education, my own information seeking into the symbol itself. You don't ever see anyone but this one.
Correct. No, you're absolutely right.
It doesn't have a history, and I don't want to cut you off, Frankie. I'm sorry, but it doesn't have a history before 1929 or 33 or whatever.
Yeah.
Until not even that infantry you're talking about in Oklahoma or anything like that. So that's just that's just my thoughts. I don't know. Go ahead.
So, so swastika has been used all the way around the world in multiple cultures. I mean, it was found here in Native American culture. It was used by mostly the Southwest tribes, like the Hopi clans or the Navajo. But also, it was been found in Jewish cultures prior to World War II. Since then, the Jewish faith has stepped away from it and no longer use it. And then today is still used in Hindu and Buddhism. And technically, you could say this loosely translates into like goodwill, good faith, that sort of deal. For Hindus, it's divinity and stuff like that. Navajo has a whole meaning of it, like the rolling logs, like that. But whenever people see swastika, their first mind does go to Nazis, because the Nazis is the one that put the stain onto it. So with that being said, we'll go to another controversial subject that's still today, and that's flags. So I got two flags up here. I got the 1956 Georgia flag and the old Mississippi flag. I think it's still around today, but they're going to be changing it soon. Do y'all consider those two flags racist?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you? This is one where I've kind of almost changed my mind on. Originally, I really didn't think so. But I saw it. I'm not from the South. I'm from Chicago originally.
Okay.
I don't have any heritage based with it, like a lot of people down south do, or at least say they do. So to me, I always saw it from a historical context. It wasn't necessarily a racist symbol in itself as much as it was a symbol of just the Civil War as a whole. But in more recent years, I don't know if it was the original debate that riled people up, because growing up, I don't know, I felt like I heard so little about the Confederate flag, or was it racist, or should it be deployed at a state building? And then all of a sudden, and once we kind of got to the woke era, and we started cleaning up some of the uglies of the past and things that don't probably need to be around anymore. The people that, are racist, not all of them really decided they were going to cling to that. And they started, once again, deploying it in that manner. So, and the media's really, really pushed it hard. So I've seen it a lot. So it's one of those where originally no, and right now, I don't think that the flag itself is, but it's used predominantly now in a disparaging way.
Okay.
I mean, you don't hear people necessarily talking about the Civil War. You don't say people say I'm 5th generation from this regiment. You just kind of have people being ignorant with it. So
you say that, and it's going to go on a little bit of a tangent. There is a group out there that provides scholarship funds to high schoolers, and they're called you have the Daughters of the American Revolution. Down here in the South, you even have Daughters of the Confederacy. And they do provide scholarship funds, just like the Daughters of Revolution. I mean, they just basically do the same thing. But so I would say y'all consider this flag racist, Michael and Brandon, because of the Confederacy, correct? Go ahead, Brandon. I see you're doing Danny's thing.
First of all, you blew me with the Daughters of the Confederacy thing. We're literally giving scholarships to treason, but never. That's neither here nor there. To piggyback off what Jaron was saying, where it's not that the symbol is that flag, those flags are racist, per se, and I'm sure there's people who could be listening that are, attached to my family from those who would say different, but this is my perception. It's my show. So I'm not saying that flag is racist. It's, that flag's not a racist. It's your guys' show too.
Yeah.
That those flags themselves aren't racist symbols, but they represent a racist heritage. Moral, ethical, any way you want to spin it. You can't, I can't, Mike can't, my mom doesn't view the South anything but, terrible times. Is without trying to beat the horse to death with it. That's the way I view the flag. Or not that flag, I'm sorry, the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Itself.
The Southern Cross flag, really. Okay.
When I look at those flags, it's like those people who don't know they're racist, or they have a little bit of racism in them, but they're unaware of it. Like they're trying to move on, but they also have like a sprinkle of microaggressions in them. So that's what I like. It's not as bad as the Confederate flag, but it's like I still have some cleaning up to do. You know what I mean?
But it's like one of those things at this point. Why? Just
all right.
It makes people uncomfortable. I almost feel like at this point,
well,
you shouldn't just bend over to peer pressure all the time. But that is such an extreme case.
I'll be honest with y'all. I am one of those that does believe that it's a heritage thing. The reason why is because the Confederacy was a representation of rural America, and you think about it, your Union was more industrial. It was more about cities. Down in the South, it was more about country, hillsides, and that sort of deal. And we're not going to get into about the Confederacy and the Civil War stuff. We're staying away from that.
Not tonight.
We're staying away from that. We're talking about symbols. But so to me, it was always a heritage thing. Now, let's bring up the second slide. I'm curious to see what y'all think on this one. So here we have the new Georgia flag that got passed in 2003, and the Lone Star flag. If you don't know the Lone Star flag, that is the state flag of Texas. And I'm going to have a lot of Texans get pissed off at me, which is fine. Do y'all consider these two flags racist?
I actually grew up in Texas. So,
so exactly.
I mean, I never took second thought to the Texas flag, to be honest. I mean, I knew the song "The Stars at Night" are big and bright, So I never really took a second look at it, other than it was a state flag. So I don't see it as racist, but I'm sure you're gonna say something's wrong with it.
Yeah. What about you? Well, Jaron, I kind of already know where you're going with, because I think you're probably on the same mindset. A flag's not really racist; it's just based on the representation of it, sort of deal. If I'm correct.
Yep.
All right. What about you, Brandon?
First of all, do you guys remember that SpongeBob episode about Texas and how bad they rode Texas? Sandy
is from Texas.
Baby? Huh?
Sandy was from Texas. So
exactly. Yeah. She did not. She's probably going to be mad about this episode. So no, I don't. It's if for the sake of what my overall thoughts have been, I should say tonight, I don't view these two flags as racist. As racist symbols. I just if that flag and that other flag represent anything of the heritage of Georgia and Texas, then it is racist.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going to leave it at.
All right, go ahead and show the next slide.
Okay.
Slide, I think it is. I could always double look. All right. So for y'all who don't know, that first flag is the Confederate flag. It was the very first Confederate flag that they adopted after they seceded from the Union. And if you look at the present Georgia flag, that's basically the same flag. The only difference is Georgia put their seal into it. So what I want to bring up is the fact that even though we have these flags that represent each state, they still draw their heritage from the Confederacy, and I mean, there's other flags also that could be represented to this at the same time, but a lot of people don't consider the Georgia flag racist because, first off, they don't realize that's the Confederate flag in a nutshell. All right. Now, with that being known, I mean, do y'all think it's racist now or what?
No, because I mean, if you pull up world flags, I bet we find 25 flags that are almost like it. There's only so many lines and colors. It may have been. I don't know whoever created it, if they actually meant to mimic that or if it was just, a symbol of the South or what when they made it.
Dude.
But
yeah,
I mean, I've never seen that flag used in a Klan rally.
Yeah,
so
right.
it doesn't stir any emotions when I see it, to be honest.
So that goes back to what we were talking about for majority of people. Like if a bunch of the people who stormed the Capitol or something was like, Georgia!
The South will rise again!
Then you might be like, wait, let me do some research to see where this flag actually came from.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Because wait a second. Because if, Michael, I'm going to ask you, Mike, do you consider the Confederacy racist?
Yeah.
So
like the
Confederacy, the Confederate States of America, their ideology, the reason they broke off and did what it was that they did. I'm asking you right now, Mike.
Yes.
I mean, so if we're saying that the Georgia flag, the new one, is a rendition of the first Confederate flag, if it's a different version of it, how is that not, as I'm thinking, even under the same argument we're using, how is it not racist?
Like I said, it just doesn't stir any emotions out of me. I've never seen it deployed in a racist way.
You're right. No,
I didn't even know.
Exactly. And I'm not saying now that all of a sudden I'm angry at the Georgia flag. I'm not.
You don't want to cancel it?
No, I don't. I don't care enough, to cancel it. But if I'm using that same argument,
mm-hmm.
and if it's used as a representation of the Confederacy, it's a racist flag.
It's the same. It's the same concept as because that flag. A lot of people don't realize that flag is called the Stars and Bars, whereas the other one is called the Southern Cross.
Okay.
So if you consider the Southern Cross,
the Confederate flag is the Southern Cross. Okay.
And that one was derived from it's a battle flag of the Northern Virginia Army. All right, and it got adopted into the Confederate flags, one with all white, and then they put a red slash on it, and that's a whole different history lesson. But let's talk about the Texas flag, though.
And hold on, before we go, I just want to say, Willie, I mean, I know you're really passionate about this, but it looks the present GA flag looks different. It has more stars. It has a symbol. They changed it. Even the spacing between the red and the white is different as well. So I just don't see it.
And that's why I said if. That's why they did it.
But at a glance, it looks very, very similar. It looks almost identical.
I'm going off. It's like the pride in the Confederacy first and foremost. You know, the pride in the heritage aspect of it, and looking at the first glance, how it is a rendition of it. If you look at all the American flags, they're all a different version of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks. I'm not saying that it is. And we're bringing up the. Go ahead.
It's not that different from like the Puerto Rico flag, though, and that's where I mean, where you only have so many variations that you can go through. But like you said, I would be more interested as to whoever created that, why they chose that. Right. You know, if there was something in particular that was their inspiration, deeply ugly rooted in the South, then yeah, that's a different conversation.
So I was actually living in Georgia when they did this flag change. You know, I grew up in Georgia. I remember these conversations. I remember the whole, in the early or late 90s, there was a whole controversy. We got to change the flag because that is a symbol of racism. That is a symbol of the Confederacy. And when they changed it over to the newer flag, and mind you, I always loved history, so I kind of knew a little bit better than a lot. But to me, I was like, so they went from one Confederate flag to the next, basically. And you don't hear any outcry. Nobody was saying anything. Of course, there was a flag in between the two, but it got outlawed because it actually depicted the American flag on the flag, which is against the U.S. flag code. It's all blue with like a little banner with all the flags. But still, you don't hear any outcry of people crying, well, that's the Confederate flag too. So my other question was, we'll bring it back to the Texas flag. All right. Not a lot of people know this about the Texas flag. That's not the Texas. There you go. The Lone Star flag. So there's a huge debate, and we're not going to go into it, but of this Confederacy, the Civil War was fought over. Well, the Confederacy or the Civil War was fought over slavery. There's a whole thing about that, right? Well, I can tell you right now, Texas did succeed from Mexico based on slavery. All right. That was the whole reason why they seceded from Mexico. And then later they came their own country for a couple of years, and then they got integrated into the United States just to fight another war. But nobody really looks at the Lone Star flag.
What was that other war over?
So it was over states' rights.
States' rights to do what?
Control and govern their own state the way they see fit.
To do what?
Make their own decisions.
About
slavery.
We're not going there, Brandon. All right, we're not going there.
Oh man!
All right, I know you want to.
If you don't know, that's probably one of my favorite aspects of American history.
But anyways,
yeah.
But anyways, nobody looks at the Lone Star flag as racist. And the reason why, I could tell you the reason why. Brandon, y'all have actually all hit it on the head. And the reason why is because nowadays nobody's using these older flags as their own symbols. The only ones that you'll see is this white supremacy flags. You know, you'll see the neo-Nazi flag, which is basically like the black cross. I don't know. I'm not a white supremacist. You got the Nazi flag, and you've got the Southern Cross, which is.
You also have the back to blue.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
He heard you.
But you see racist groups using these flags as their symbols. So therefore, it does leave a negative connotation into everybody's mouth nowadays that's saying these are racist symbols. Whereas, truthfully, it all depends on the content of way it's being presented. All right. Like for me, I believe that the Confederate flag is a symbol of heritage, whereas in like Michael, Brandon, y'all think it's more of a racist thing. But I mean, and I understand. It's not like I go out and back of my truck, I have a Confederate flag that's big as the state of Texas, and I'm going down the road yelling, "Yeehaw, let's get her done," sort of deal. No, I understand the way other people look at it, and I'm not going to try to go out of my way to offend them, you know. But there are some people that have this flag on their truck. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are white supremacists.
I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm sorry.
because this flag means different stuff to different people. wrong mouse. Let me get back on my script because I am way off my script.
And that's not. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think that they're obviously racist or like. There's things that I was taught as a kid that I was taught from generations upon generations, and by, I guess, by those teachings, I could be seen as like homophobic or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been taught all this crap, and it's because I didn't know any better. But once you know better, you do better. And the Confederate flag, the racist symbol. I can even deal with people in the South wearing it. You know, if you're from the South, I can deal with it. You know, if you really want to say that's your heritage, but when it's people who've never even been to the South, people who like up here in Illinois, you know, yeah, just like, what is going on? Like, you're just wearing it because.
If I went to somewhere like New York and they're wearing the Confederate flag, I'm like, you have no clue what the hell you're doing, you know? Because like me, I'm from Georgia, you know. My high school was in. You want to talk about redneck high school? I went to a straight up redneck high school. I mean, we had more pickups in the front than we had any other vehicle out there, you know. In fact, actually, on our football field beside it, there was actually another field, and that was our mudding hole. So, but to me, symbols have different meanings according to different people. All right, we'll bring up that last one.
Before I bring that up, I do agree with you on that. Just take the N word for instance. I mean, me and Woody can say it, you know. And it's not racist, but you know, it's not meant to be racist. But
I could tell you the reason why it's became the way it is because it was used as a term of endearment back in the older days. Whereas in like you think of like racist words towards white people. All right, we got redneck. I embrace that term like it's tomorrow, you know. Or hillbilly or something like that. They're not
cracker,
really, you know. And see, that doesn't hurt. What?
Honky.
Actually, I was thinking you were going to say shrimp dick, but that's just me.
No, that was last week. I got to move on.
Yeah, that only goes against white people. Shrimp dick.
Yeah, but no, the N word.
That ain't right, bud.
The N word started out actually as a term of endearment during the slavery time. You know, so and that's the reason why.
Talk about symbolism, because even nowadays, even like between the way that Mike and Brandon might say it to each other, there is a huge distinguish between the hard ER and the soft A. And everybody knows that.
Yes. And I mean, even as a white guy, I can't say either one. I mean, it's not like I go to see Michael on the street and say, like, hey, what's up, Mike?
You can say it.
That'd be an interesting segment.
Yeah, it would be. Thank goodness
I'm in Texas. You just got to know the consequences.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. So this last symbol, it's called the Celtic knot. And it's got two symbols. In fact, actually, we talked about this a little bit on my other show when Brandon was on with us. It's got a symbol when it comes to Christianity. It represents the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, all three different entities also as one. But also another Celtic meaning of it is also the elements of life. You got earth, wind, and water. All right. All three different elements, but also combined into one for life, you know? So symbols all have different meanings according to different people, you know?
I've never seen this used in the Bible or in any Christian place ever. I just wanted to. I grew up in a church. I was very Christian. Yeah, I guess it is because I have never ever heard of this being
cross, bro.
Father, Son.
That's that pagan shit, bro.
You want to talk about a discussion for a different day? There's a lot of pagan symbolism in Christianity.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a. Yeah,
I can. Yeah, Jared, I cannot wait for that conversation. I cannot wait for that conversation.
The Mesopotamian and pagan symbolism all through Christianity. Oh yeah.
But no, well, either way though, I mean, even the background. Let's screw the background for a second because I know, but still, these symbols have different meanings to different people. You know, I mean, to me, I'm actually Irish. I have Irish blood, so to me, I see it and it's like a symbol for Ireland sort of deal because that's my heritage or initial heritage, you know, but still, but you see we'll take the swastika, like I said earlier. Just if you see the swastika in India, are you automatically going to assume that they're a Nazi? You know, first off, Nazism was all about white supremacy. They're not white in India.
They just adapted that ideology. They're being whitewashed.
I want to go back to the. I after talking about this, I want to go back to the Confederate stuff, because it's like the Nazi flag and the Confederate flag are almost two different situations.
Okay.
Almost the way I'm feeling about it. You know, the Nazi flag is truly one shitty ass group of people took it, turned it, and did what they did with it.
Yeah.
And then you got a bunch of equally shitty ass people now using it because of them. You know, that's pretty much what they are. You know, whereas with the Confederate flag, like I'm sorry, but to me, it is hate.
And,
you know, and before you and I don't want to, I'll let you finish, but
yeah.
No, it's that I think part of the heritage aspect of it for those that are proud is that you can take yourself and put yourself in that time because your family was there, your grandfather, your great grandfather, whoever, you know, so you have bloodlines going back to that heritage, you know. Now and again, go back to us. If I put myself back in that same time, you know, and if we're all Americans, that has to be observed just as much. Not 28 or 29 days every 4 years, you know, not anytime we have an event like again in Minneapolis, and we need to talk about that. So it has to be acknowledged so it can be moved from. And I'm not saying that you're putting the blinders on for it, but giving that time period any kind of a warm fuzzy feeling isn't doing the justice for the millions that were murdered because of it. It's not. You know, I sound like I'm knocking it. I really do, and I'm coming at a lot of people.
No.
I'm probably going to get burned for it.
You have that right to do that, because I mean, that's the way you view it. You know, everybody's, like I said last week, everybody's opinion is their own opinion. You can't be right or wrong in your own opinion. You know, you believe what you believe, and there's nothing we could do about that. But I will go back to say, I mean, you talk about us going back. Well, I could be honest with you. Time travel is a white man's luxury. And I mean,
that's a good way of saying that.
I mean, even if you're a female, time travel is never going to be a good idea for you. If you're black, time travel is terrible for you. So, truthfully, time travel is a white man's luxury. But you also bring in the fact that we're as a whole, as a country, and everything else. That's a skewed observation, and the reason why I say that is because you're assuming that America is a melting pot when we're actually more of a salad bowl. You know, it's our different cultures, our different individualities of us, each of us, that makes America America. I
don't believe we're a melting pot. That's the excuse that's thrown at me when I'm discussing how we are a salad bowl.
Yeah,
and how we are multi-layered like that.
Yes. So
you're right.
And the reason why I say this is and I totally understand your view, because first off, there's a group that absolutely hates you, and that's their symbol they use, you know? And if you didn't like that symbol, and believe me, I do have a good friend of mine who is black that lives out in Washington. He wears the flag like no tomorrow, you know? I served with him overseas and stuff. But at the same time, though, that's his opinion. I mean, and you have your opinion because you see the hatred that this symbol has caused. You know, it's like Jews. I mean, if I was Jewish, I don't care what color or what symbol that swastika or shape or wherever, if it was inverted, I don't care. If I see that swastika, I'm terrified for my life, you know? And that's because there's been people that use that symbol for hatred towards me personally. You know, so to me, yes, I see the symbol, but I've never experienced the hatred towards me. And as a gentleman of the South, you know, I've always seen this as our heritage down there, because yes, I come from Georgia. Yes, this was part of Georgia history. And one thing I know is Georgia history, or actually this whole United States history. You know, I understand we've got Civil War. I know we got fought over Some people say it was slavery. Some people say it's state rights. We're not going there, Brandon, so quiet. But to me, everybody's opinion is different. And my biggest thing is, though, when you see somebody wearing it, a lot of people, we're getting to the point in this country where when you see something like that, you automatically assume he's a white supremacy. He's a racist, which isn't always true. You know, I don't go around sporting it because I understand the views that y'all see on it, you know. But truthfully, if I was going to be honest with you, I see it to myself as a heritage thing.
But that's already the difference, though, right?
Yes.
You understand it, and you like I said, I see it from a more of a historical standpoint. However, I wouldn't pull that to the back of my pickup truck. I'm not wearing it on a T-shirt because I don't think that anybody should be assaulted for wearing something. But we're getting at the point where racial tensions are high, people are volatile, depending on where you're at. If you're in Milwaukee right now and you bust that out, somebody's probably going to bust you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I've almost changed my mind, because the people that are still throwing it out there are doing it to antagonize. A lot of them, not everybody.
You're absolutely right.
Everybody.
I mean, just take gangs, for instance. Okay, you can't wear a certain color in a place.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not because it's a bad color, but you know, Bloods and Crips, you can't wear that color around them, and it's not because the color is like racist or you know, it's just that's not what they want. But I would say that with the Confederate, I have plenty of friends who have either a Confederate tattoo, they wear the shirts or whatever. I don't think that they're necessarily racist at all. I think that they they do have some kind of heritage to it. It's all about how you talk after that. Like, what do you have to say after that? Like, if you can go into depth why this is your heritage, I'm likely to give you a slide. But if you're just wearing it to wear it, it's just a slap in the face to everything, to both sides.
I do see that there are probably some white people that actually proudly display this flag just to spark the controversy, just to have that slap in the face, you know. And I mean, to me, like I said, to me, it's a heritage thing because it represents the rural America. It represents, you know, living outdoors. It represents the outdoorsman sort of deal, you know, not living in a city setting, you know. And that's how I grew up. You know, I grew up in the North Georgia mountains where it was nothing but woods. I was outside playing in the woods, biking, hiking, and all that stuff almost all my childhood. So, actually, so with that, I mean, that's all I really have to say. How y'all want to close this out discussion wise?
I don't know. I'll just once again, I just feel like growing up, I just never saw it, and I think it's probably our fault as a society for empowering the symbol again, because I don't think it had very much power through the 90s and early 2000s. And now all of a sudden that symbol will trigger such a large section of people. There's other people that are just shitheads. They may not even be racist. They may not be from the South. They may have no affiliation with it, but they know that they will get a rise out of somebody, and they're that bored with their life that they're just using it that way. So, I mean, I think part of the blame is on us and not necessarily the symbol or what it represented. But like I said, also there's clearly a group of people that have latched onto it, especially now that people are so sensitive and are just using it more and more, wearing it more and more, deploying it in settings where it's just inappropriate.
And we're back, guys. We're back for the final discussion, and now it's time for the real debate, where we talk about all topics. Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get, but luckily we told you guys earlier what's coming your way. And on this segment, we're going the best boy band that goes into R&B, pop, soul. I mean, if it's more than like 2 or 3 boys, that's a boy band.
Facts.
So that means like no Spice Girls, right?
No Spice Girls.
All right.
They're not even the best girl group, so we don't even.
I'm from the '90s, so this is like.
What do you?
Let's calm down.
Let's do calm down.
We know what we're doing for the next episode.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. I can give you somebody else, but I mean,
I can give you 2 or 3. I can give you 2 or 3 off the top of my head over the Spice Girls. If we're being,
I can give you one.
Next time. Next episode. Save it. Save it.
All right.
So yeah, we're gonna just discuss that, and hopefully you guys comment in the comment section, or you join the conversation to let us know who you think is the best boy band. But I mean, since I'm the host of this segment, I'm just gonna call somebody to give their take first, and I just want to go with Jaron.
That's whack because I have the weakest argument. To be honest, I
It's
looked
getting out
at
of the way.
it and I just thought, I was like, who is still relevant? Who's had the longevity? And I was like, I can really only name a couple members from the other bands, and I'm thinking Backstreet Boys. The first one that comes to mind was Lance, and that because he ended up being gay, and that was such a shock because they were like a sex symbol of that era, and everyone's like, "What?"
All right,
So
I'm
that
gonna
wasn't
stop
for
you. I'm
talent.
gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. Then NSYNC, he is not in the Backstreet Boys, so you got the wrong boy group. Just so you know.
Dang, that's crazy because I was going with NSYNC for Justin Timberlake. So watch out. That man's still doing his thing and he's a stud. So I was like, NSYNC it is. He's got the best
We
career.
were gonna cut that, but that was perfect.
That was-
So that's his group.
I'm not cutting that at all.
Oh, no,
I'm not cutting that.
Keep the whole thing. Let it go.
Oh man.
Backstreet Boys is Nick Carter.
Yes.
Oh,
AJ.
yeah, and nobody cares about that. Look, he's no. Don't even get me started on Nick Carter. No.
Hey, at least they actually came back at one point. NSYNC is yet to do it.
Why they don't? Never mind.
All right.
No, Nick
You could do a
Carter's
whole
trying to
debate
get on
on
like
those
Sway in the
two.
Morning right now, claiming he's the best rapper alive. That dude's lost his mind. Nick Carter's trying to get on Sway in the Morning and shit right now and claim that he's the best rapper alive. He is out of his mind.
Did
He's
you
got
see?
tattoos all on his face. That dude is nuts.
Oh shit.
No,
Thinking of somebody
You're
that
talking
looks
about
like
the-
Nick Carter.
Hold on, he's talking about the wrong Carter. you are just wrong.
You
All
talking about
day.
Aaron Carter?
That's Aaron
Yeah.
Carter.
Nick Carter. You're right.
His younger brother.
You know, he was up here at a bar. This would have been 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, and he actually got in a fight with some local rapper / my tattoo artist. Believe it or not, that made like TMZ and everything. Aaron Carter did for saying some, racist stuff. You know, he would have been completely canceled had it been a couple years later. And it's not like it was something terrible.
But it was enough.
You know, it was,
Yeah.
but it was like, yeah, you know, you knew the intent behind what he was trying to say, and he got beat up. So yeah, but that's Aaron Carter, but that's not Nick. That's not the back. That's I don't know.
So the beginning
Moving
of this
on.
segment, I just want everybody to know Jaron is pretty smart. He says a lot of smart things, but he has
Great
no
things.
idea.
Pop culture. No, not pop culture.
Like he got the wrong brother.
The wrong member.
He would not be a boy band.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Couldn't care less about rich people or the billboard.
All right,
So,
so
you're out of the
yeah,
girl.
guess-
So you're not doing the girl group next week
Nope.
then, or next time, right? We're
I'm
letting
just
you
gonna
know
go
now.
Spice
The
Girls
next
based
episode
on,
is
Sporty
the girl.
Spice.
Okay. All right.
No, he's just gonna Google some like
Sporty
K-pop
Spice
group.
is the one that's with Beckham, though. That's the only reason you know that, though, right?
Yep, Victoria Beckham, absolutely, absolute
Okay.
smoke
Fair
show.
enough. Fair enough.
All right, so Woody,
Me.
I guess you're gonna go. I don't know if you're
So-
picking instinct too.
No, absolutely not. Especially when I started realizing the era of the '90s boy bands, and the one I'm going with is one that's longevity wise I still listen to now today, and that's Boyz II Men. You know, had him with the '90s. In the 2000s, when we did all the junior high school dances, and we had the
word.
beach ball linked apart, you know, and then in high school when everybody was twerking, and we had the Pop It Off boys come for homecoming. We still listen to
Crank
Boyz
that
II
Batman,
Men.
baby.
You know, we still listen to it. I mean, you think of the artists that they've done collabs with. You think of the Mariah Carey collab that they've done. You think of their Christmas music. That's the only other '90s Christmas or album, '90s R&B star other than Mariah Carey I listen to is not Boyz II Men's Christmas album. So that's my pick. They're heavy hitters. Plus, guys, I mean, the melody, the music.
Not only that though,
Singing.
yeah, you're guaranteed to get laid if you play Boyz II Men.
All right. Let's hear what Frankie has to have.
Nathan Sean.
All right. So, whenever we were talking about this, I was thinking, all right. So, what is a boy band that has made it throughout history, that has made a big cultural impact? And I did think about Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Boyz II Men. And then I was like, those were the 90s. Let's think bigger.
Where's my?
You could play it, but they're going to get you. Don't worry. I have to go with the original boy bands, and that's the Beatles.
I knew he was going to say that.
I gotta go with the Beatles.
You know what? I guess. Huh?
That was on the table.
It's not.
It's a boy band. It's a band with boys. It's a boy band. I mean, tell me which boy band has lasted like 3-4 decades?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
This is this. He's not wrong. This is almost as bad. This is almost as bad as you using Phoenix. The Phoenix.
I didn't use the Phoenix.
Mike, that's what I'm saying. As Mike using Phoenix for his superhero list
last week
because she's really a villain. But if you just sit here and skirt through all the
there was no rules, and to me, they play musical instrument. They are a band. They are comprised of boys.
There's no outfit.
Moving side to side from that's
how white people dance.
Come on, no, that was from Will Smith himself. You're over here. Now you gotta go over here. Don't go do the pizza thing. No, don't do that.
That was the most unseasoned thing I've ever seen on this show. I hope everybody watches the video and watches Frankie dance. That was like I needed some salt and pepper and some onion powder in that.
Hey, look, I loved Hitch. All right, Hitch taught me how to dance.
Man. That's not Jared just sitting back like, oh my god.
Damn white people.
Remember the race draft from Dave Chappelle? Trying to make a trade.
So I absolutely disagree with you, Frankie. The Beatles
naturally.
Oh my god, the Beatles. Everybody was on drugs, so everything sounded good. Everything sounded good there in that era. Everybody was.
Think the Beatles are
popping
good? Wait. Time out.
I'm not a Beatles fan. I'm not. I don't like the music. I don't. Queen is far better than the Beatles.
Oh, I love Queen too.
Far better. I'd listen to Queen every day over the Beatles. Beatles sound like a bunch of whiny man-child. So my pick.
It better not be stupid.
My pick could have been either one of the two that was named NSYNC or Boyz II Men. NSYNC being I grew up on NSYNC, and they took what the Backstreet Boys had and they made it better, and they did it with less albums. Whereas Backstreet Boys, they got maybe like 1 or 2, 3 major hits that you think of, but when you think of NSYNC, you think of Bye Bye Bye, It's Gonna Be Me, Gone, Pop. It's Tearing Up My Heart. It's
right?
Huh? No, every song that I named, Pop is definitely.
You're right.
Pop is NSYNC. No.
Do not come about me for NSYNC because I was hyped when they came together at the VMAs. I was in my living room doing the dance. So do not come at me for NSYNC. Or I can go with Boyz II Men, but I am going to go with Boyz II Men. The reason I'm going to go with Boyz II Men is because of the longevity, and they're still going right now. I don't think they've ever separated to do their own thing, whereas I think the Beatles have. John Lennon went his own way, right? A couple. The only person who left Boyz II Men was a deep voice guy, and that was because he was ill. He couldn't really perform anymore. He was ill, but
Michael McRae, right?
Yeah, they're still cranking out music right now, and the awards that they have, the artists that they play with, acapella. I don't know how good that the Beatles can sing acapella, but you can have a Boyz II Men album, and there would be no instruments; it'd just be their voices.
But
I don't. Go ahead, Frankie, because
the Beatles had the greatest songwriter of all time, Paul McCartney.
Quincy Jones, sir. Sit down in your seat with that. Jeez. We're gonna school you on some things this season.
Oh.
Man, but here's my I don't like the way Mike's bashing the Beatles. And I know and I know you're attacking Frankie because you didn't like his.
No.
I gotta blame
I don't like
Frankie because the Beatles aren't a boy band.
Yes, they are. They play. What's the
They're not a
definition
boy
of a band? What's the definition of a band? Musical instruments.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I am doing that. I am
doing the fake news, the alternative facts.
Oh, fake news.
What is?
No, you Google it. You Google it. First boy band. Let me double check first. But yes, Beatles will come up.
I'll let you do it. Share screen. Like we want to see this. Oh my gosh!
I don't think anybody. Well,
the first boy band, the Beatles show up. Considered by number of
Google,
as the first,
not Parlors.
I didn't go
search
Parlor.
engine.
I mean, at that standard, though, then like Mozart, his boys in the orchestra, they're a boy band. Do they count? I mean, how far are we going?
But journalists consider the Beatles the first and the original boy band.
Okay, the journalists. What journalists? I need
Rolling Stones.
Excuse me, I have the hiccups. The Jackson 5 is a better boy band.
No. Think about
it.
Where did Jackson 5 get a lot of their inspiration from? The
Michael
Beatles.
Jackson.
That was Michael Jackson.
James Brown.
Their music was a little bit different, but yeah, I can see that. But
right.
1, 2, 3. I mean, that's right there. Paul McCartney inspired.
I don't know. See, but that to me, that's like all Motown. Like that's
That is
all Motown inspiration. Yeah. Did that come from the Beatles?
The Beatles inspired.
They ain't have enough color.
Yeah,
well, no, because they're English. I mean, come on, they're English. They were limited on color.
Yeah, so
they got a lot of Jamaicans.
Yeah.
You said the Beatles. You might have well said One Direction.
98 degrees.
No.
You know what? One Direction. Much, exactly how we try to come at you.
No, I am not. No, because I didn't listen to One Direction. I don't know One Direction. I'm not like some teenager right now.
There are a bunch of English people who had a few good years, and then they all went their own ways and
still produce hits.
You still disrespect them way too much. That's for me. I'm sitting uncomfortable over here with how bad you're bashing them.
The Beatles suck. The Beatles suck. Okay,
it's Frankie's fault for bringing them up, but this is rough, bro. Jeez,
Brett is just mad because he didn't think of it first.
No, because I still would have picked Boys and Men because they're a boy band.
So is the Beatles.
No, they're not.
When they're a boy band, I think of pop. Like,
thank you.
No. What was the first thing that Michael said? It doesn't matter if it's pop, R&B.
He didn't say rock though. He said soul.
It doesn't matter. Yes, let's take out one of the biggest genres out there. Then,
when I think of Queen, when I think of what is this group called? The Beatles. I'm putting them in the same group as Queen.
And I love Queen. Believe me.
Okay.
I'm done.
Queen. I don't think of boy band, and I'm like, oh, Queen. So when I think of the Beatles, I don't think, oh, boy band. I think of band. It's a band.
Rock group. Rock
group. Yeah. It's not a boy band. They might look like boys, but they're not a boy band. They sit there and they play their little instruments. Going like this, side to side, is not dancing. Okay, so you got to have some kind of dancing. That's
According to Hitch, that's dancing. That's all the moves you need right there.
So he's trying to get Will Smith, who's black, to certify.
Yes.
That is dancing. That's what he's trying to do.
Yes.
You see that?
You call me out on it.
The Hitch. Which part? Hold on. Who?
So just a recap of everything. Jaren does not know who is in what boy band whatsoever.
I know your name, but I don't know where you're from
at all.
Oh, man.
Frankie thinks that the Beatles are a boy band, and they are not. They are a rock band for sure. A definite rock band.
Didn't they have a rock band Beatles game?
Yeah.
That's how they had NSYNC in the rock band.
No, they don't.
Yes, they did.
Lying, bro.
We can just rename the segment "Damn White People."
Whoa, guys, Please let us know. Let us know what you think in the comments about all of this. What is the best boy band, and not rock band? If you think that the Beatles are a rock band, please let us know, because it just is not adding up. And if anybody sees Nick Carter, tell them that Jaron is looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tell him it's on the side of him and his brother. I don't care which one I see. I don't know the difference anyways.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight for our session of From the Heart for the Heart. No matter what was said, no matter what point of view we come from, it's all from love. It's all from a place of understanding to hopefully understand each other. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.